one has to become the servant of Krishna or servant of Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much, Guruji. That was wonderful. So you spoke about how we need to control our senses and by the practice of yoga. Is there anything else anyone else remembers from the last class?
Yes, I think last time Prabhuji added that how should we chant? It should be a cry of the baby for mother rather than a meditation. And we should call out in a mood of helplessness. The process, like he explained, that it's not meditation but a process of calling out. And then he
So,
also explained the stages from Shraddha to Prem. Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and then Prem.
Missed out a very important one. Anartha
Anartha.
Nivritti.
There are a few more.
Yeah.
Shraddha,
Sadhu
Nivritti,
Sangha.
Yeah,
and
it goes with Shraddha, then it goes with Sadhu, Bhajan, Kriya, and then Nishta, which develops faith. Then it goes to Ruchi, where you become attached to, like you give example of chanting the mantra, and then Bhakti, which is sadhana, Asakti, and then Bhava finally, which is prema. The 9 stages of devotional service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then we also discussed one example of Gajendra and how he chanted prayers in desperation, the mood of desperation, as Prabhuji highlighted in this example.
Yeah. So,
May I ask?
yes, please.
So last time you explained us that how we yes, you explained us that how we like to lord over material nature, but that's not how it is. It's in spiritual world. We are actually servants of the servants of the servants of the devotees. And when we want, I would want fruits in return, so that becomes the karma, the cycle of karma. That's how you explain us. And then there was a push hill up process, and then the down is very easy. So initially, like to get into association, bhakti, and understanding, we sincerely have to take effort, and then it gradually happens. We just slide down later on, and then yeah, you explain us attachment. We have a lot of attachment, so for this we need a lot of association and faith with devotees, and then gradually ruchi towards Harinam will come out. That's what I meant. And about Mirabai example you gave us. Yeah.
That was, I think, devotee of the devotee, right?
Yes.
Or Mirabai example, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
How we follow.
King Bhojraj. How he.
Bhojraj, yeah, his wife.
And also one more point, that we need to use our energy to serve Krishna. All our energy. And we should not desire fruits.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, I think someone was mentioning, I forgot the point, but it just reminded me of a particular story. How, yeah, I think Yagya was talking about the, mood of desperation in which Gajendra called out. So I was just suddenly, inspiration in the heart, a story of how Krishna is bhavagrahi. So there was this Shaligram Shila which somehow landed up in the hands of a butcher. And actually, there's a long story. I'm not able to recollect the entire thing, but there is a long story of how, somebody had got Shaligram Shila. It was stolen, and then it was sold to somebody in the market. And from the market, this butcher, once he went and he was he wanted to kind of buy certain things, and then he was sold this small stone also, like this nice shiny stone. Give me 2 paisa and you can take it, like that. So this person, this butcher, he weighed the stone, and he thought, okay, this is something I can use to on the weighing scale when I'm actually selling the flesh. So he got that Shaligram Shila. And this person, this entire story is from Jagannath Puri. So in Jagannath Puri, Jayadev Goswami's Geet Govind is very, very famous. Have you all heard of Jayadev Goswami or Geet Govind for that matter?
Yes.
So his Geet Govind is very, very famous. So even the locals would just sing it like that, right? And everybody, somehow or the other, they would have heard and caught a few lines, and they would sing like that. So this butcher, he was actually, cutting meat and weighing and selling it, but at the same time he was singing Geet Govind. So once this Brahmana, there was this Brahmana who was passing by, and he crossed the butcher's shop, and the Shaligram Shila somehow caught his eye. I was like, am I seeing correct? What is this? Then he went ahead towards the butcher shop to take a closer look, and he actually saw, oh, this is Shaligram Shila. And he said, are you crazy? What are you doing? Right? You're using Shaligram Shila to weigh flesh and give it to people. You're such a rascal. You're such a papi, right? And you'll burn in hell for this. So the butcher said, oh, I did not know. Right? You please take him. It's okay. You go and worship. So this Brahmana, he brought back the Shaligram Shila to his house, and nicely cleaned it, and started worshipping. So the whole day he worshipped the Shaligram Shila very, very nicely with nice beautiful flowers, etc. And then at night, the Shaligram Shila manifested in his dream. And he's like, why did you take me away from that shop? I want to go back. And in the dream, this Brahmana is saying, what? The Lord, you were in such, pitiable condition there. You're being, used to weigh flesh, and, it was being sold. How can you be there? So, no, take me back, take me back. That person, he was singing Geet Govind, which is so dear to me. So I would like to hear that Geet Govind. Please take me back. So the Brahmana actually then obeyed the Lord, and next day he went and told the entire thing to this butcher. And this butcher, he had, tears in his eyes, and like, yes, I will definitely sing Geet Govind for the Lord, and I will leave this. I won't keep him in this condition anymore. So that's how dear Geet Govind is to the Lord. So like last time, I think we sang a particular Vaishnav song. I think Harsha had sang a Vaishnav song. So these Vaishnav songs are actually PhDs of spiritual life. So Bhagavad Gita is like going to school. Srimad Bhagavatam is graduation. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a post-graduation. And these Vaishnav songs sung by different acharyas, they are the PhDs of spiritual life. So all the essence of the Vedic literatures, everything is there in these Vaishnav songs. And they are sung with such loving mood towards the Lord. So much so that even if we sing without having any real mood also, right? If we simply repeat the words of these pure devotees when they're singing out of such feeling and love for the Lord, if we simply repeat them, right? It immediately catches Krishna's attention. Krishna immediately pays attention. Oh, this person is singing or repeating the words of a pure devotee. Right? Immediately his attention is caught. So this story illustrates it so well. So like we sang last time, I think did we share Prabhuji the PDF in the group? I remember sharing it with Sujata personally, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you shared it with me. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are
we'll do it.
many. Sorry, let's go.
No, Prabhuji, I was just saying that we did not. We'll do it. It slipped my mind.
Yeah. So we shared this, and there are so many beautiful bhajans. In fact, we'll try and sing. Let's try and sing at least one bhajan a week, right? In the end. So let's do that. There are so many amazing compositions by different acharyas, and if you look at the meaning, it's just amazing. So yeah. Okay, let's start. Yada te moha kalilam
Yada te moha kalilam
Yada te moha kalilam
यदा ते मोहकलिलं
buddhir vyatitarishyati.
बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यते
Buddhir vyatitarishyati. Tada gantasi nirvedam.
तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदं
Vedam
Tada gantasi nirvedam.
तदा
Vedam
Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
Shrutavasyasya
श्रोतव्यस्य
Srutasya cha
Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
श्रोतव्यस्य च
Anyone would like to chant the shloka? Lead the chant.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, go on, Prabhuji. Okay. Anyone would like to
Yeah,
chant?
yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Please.
Shall I do it? Shall I do it?
Yes, go ahead.
Date moha kalilam
Yada te
यदा
buddhir gati tarishyati
buddhir
tada kantasi nirvedam
यदा गन्तासि
Vedam
निर्वेदं
shrotavyasya shrutasya cha
श्रोतव्यस्य
Shrutavasyasya
च
cha.
Okay, translation, anyone? Please read.
Yes. Can I read so?
Yes, please go ahead. Read the translation.
When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is be heard.
Yes. So, very important shloka. So Krishna is saying, and so far, he's been explaining, how Arjuna should abandon, all other attachments to failure and success, and be in equanimity, be in yoga, and that is nothing but acting in Krishna consciousness. So, and how through such performance of devotional service, he can keep all other activities away and not incur sin, which was his doubt earlier. So now he's saying, when your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Now, what does this mean? So, Srila Prabhupada describes here, there are many good examples in the lives of great devotees of the Lord, those who became indifferent to rituals of the Vedas, right? So when it is being said indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard, one reference is also to the Vedas. Prabhu, can you mute others? Yeah. So so indifferent to all that has been heard or all that is to be heard is one reference is to the Vedas. Sri Prabhupada is explaining here, because Vedas, they deal with all kinds of subject matters, everything, even the material science and the spiritual science, both are described in the Vedas literally means all knowledge. So one need not care for the rituals of the Vedas once one attain a certain level in Krishna consciousness, or a certain stage in Krishna consciousness. So when Sri Prabhupada continues, when a person actually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to rituals or fruitive activities, even though an experienced Brahmana, right? So Vedas, like I said, they mention a lot of things. They also mention a lot of rituals which bear fruitive results, etc. So Srila Madhavendra Puri, a great devotee and acharya in the line of devotees, says, and I will jump to the translation: "Oh, my prayers 3 times a day, all glory to you. O bathing, I offer my obeisances to you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer you my respects. Now, wherever I sit, I can remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, and thereby I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. So, Madhvendra Puri, I will just touch upon a little bit on who Madhvendra Puri is, and we also have this Akshay Tritiya, where there are multiple things that has happened, and also one of the very significant things that start on the Akshay Tritiya day is the Chandan Yatra, and that story is connected to Srila Madhvendra Puri. So Srila Madhvendra Puri is a great Vaishnava Acharya who's coming in the line of Gaudiya Sampradaya or Madhva Sampradaya actually, right? Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. So he's in fact, one of the first persons to propound, the Madhurya Rasa. He's the first proponent of Madhurya Rasa in the line, from Lord Brahma. And he is actually spiritual master of Ishwar Puri. And Ishwar Puri is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru, Ishwar Puri is Guru, Srila Madhavendra Puri. Right? So Srila Madhavendra Puri was such a great Vaishnava Acharya that he had taken once a vrata called Ajhachak Vrata. Ajhachak Vrata means that he would sit in one place and he would not go out to beg. Normally, the sannyasis or people who are in completely renounced order, earlier days also, they would sit in the forest and, in a day they would go out and beg for food because they're not going for work or not earning, etc. So for their sustenance, they would go out and beg for food. And there are different types of sannyasis or different types of, these transcendentalists who would, sometimes go out to do it's called madhukari. So they would go out to do madhukari, to get some food and also to bless the householders with their association. In fact, it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, I think, when Sukdev in connection to Sukdev Goswami, that such personalities, they visit householders, till the time of a milking of a cow. How much time it takes to milk a cow, for that much time they go there to give their association, to the householders, so that they can actually realize the real meaning of life and real goal of life. So that's how they keep traveling and giving their association. So so they would go out for Madhukari, but this Ajachak Vrata was such that Madhavendra Puri decided, I won't even go to beg for food or do Madhukari anywhere. If Krishna wants me to eat, I will get food. I will simply sit here, chant and meditate on the Lord, because that's my real business, right? And that's what he's saying. That he's saying that my pranams to all the rituals, all the customs, etc. Right? But I don't think I need them, because just remembering, I can, my mind is constantly able to remember Krishna, and I think that is sufficient for me. So I don't need to get into these rituals. So actually, a Krishna conscious person even rises above the Vedic rituals as such. So this Madhavendra Puri, when he was following this Ajachak Vrata, Krishna, after 2 or 3 days of, I think the fourth day, Krishna personally came in the form of a small covered boy with a glass of milk for him. And he appeared like a small villager, and he went to Madhavendra Puri and gave him this glass of milk. And Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you?" Like, I'm a village boy just living nearby. My mother has sent this for you. Please drink. So Madhavendra Puri drank that milk, and the boy, of course, he went away. Madhavendra Puri drank that milk and he slept. And when he slept, he saw the same boy in his dream. And the boy instructed, "Look, I'm actually in this particular area. I'm under the ground. I'm stuck under the ground. So you go here and pull me out. So Majendra Puri woke up and he thought, hey, what is this dream? And he understood that this boy is none other than Krishna. So he immediately went to the specific place, and in the dream, he was told how he can identify that place. So he said that every morning there is a cow who comes and just gives the milk on that spot. So he went there and he saw, the next day that there is in the morning there is a cow who's giving the milk on the ground, just like that. And he understood this is the place. So he got some villagers. He cleared that area with some shrubs, etc. And he asked them to start digging. And from there, the Murti of Gopalji came out. So this Gopalji is none other than Srinathji in Nathdwara. So Madhavendra Puri was one who actually unearthed it. So this deity was actually worshipped or established by Vajranath, who was the great grandson of Krishna. And then later on in the previous centuries, etc., uh, the deity was hidden because of different attacks, etc. So then it was rediscovered like this by Madhendra Puri, and he was taken out from the ground, and a very nice abhishek was done on top of the Govardhan hill, and the whole festival was celebrated. After all of that, and yeah, so in the dream, Gopalji had said that I'm feeling really hot, please get me out of the ground. So he was out of the ground, he was nicely bathed, all kinds of offerings were made, and the villagers were engaged also in serving the Lord. So after a few days, again Gopalji told Madhendra Puri, I'm still feeling hot, can you do something, can you go and get me some chandan and apply it on my body? So and this is back in the 1300s, if I'm not mistaken, 13 or 1400s, right? So Madhendra Puri, just to fulfill the desire of the Lord, he started on foot from Vrindavan, which is in UP, or even closer to actually the Rajasthan border. From there, he started by foot to go to Orissa to get Chandan. Imagine. So while he was, passing through, and again, I mean, there are a lot of pastimes, so I get into that. The whole class will just, get into the pastimes. But yeah, so he started on foot to get Chandan. There were many things which happened in between. I think I mention Kirchor Gopinath in any of the classes?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh. So yeah, so he entered Orissa, and of course, those days Mughals were ruling, and it was difficult to go through different places also. But somehow there, before he would reach, the word of his his fame was such, people would understand and recognize. But in Orissa, he just entered quietly, somehow dodged everything, and entered Orissa quietly so that no one would recognize him. And there, when he entered Orissa, there is a place called Remuna, which is closer to, which is probably, I think, some 4-5 hours from Puri. Oh no, sorry, 8 hours from Puri. Yeah, 8 hours from Puri. So we entered a place called Remuna, and there is a nice deity of Gopinath. This deity of Gopinath was actually carved by Lord Ramchandra himself with his arrow. So very, very beautiful deity. You can still go and have darshan. Maybe someday we can, take a yatra to Orissa and Mayapur, and we can take darshan of Lord Jagannath. There is Sakshi Gopal. There is this Gopinath, which I'm about to talk about. So this deity is carved by Lord Ram himself, and very, very beautiful deity. So there is a very famous kheer which is cooked there, which is known as Amrita Keli. It's very, very famous, very amazing taste. So this Amrit Keli, when it was being offered, Madhavendra Puri got to know that, this place is famous, and this kheer is very, very famous. So while it was being offered and Madhavendra Puri was there taking darshan of the Lord, he immediately desired if only I can get to taste this Amrit Keri Kheer, I'll make the same kheer for my Gopal. So as soon as this desire came, this is a spiritual desire. He wanted to taste so that he can understand how it's made and offer that to he. The desire came to serve Gopal actually, but then he immediately thought, oh, the kheer has not yet been even offered, and I'm thinking about tasting it. I'm such a big offender, right? And he immediately left the place, left the temple, and went out in the market, and sat there somewhere repenting that how such a rascal I am. How can I even think about something like this? So then in the night, typically the pujaris would offer 9 pots of kheer to the Lord. So and when the offering is done, they would come and collect the pots and start distributing. So at night, the pujari of Gopinath, he in the dream, Gopinath came and he said, you know, uh, there is a devotee by the name of Madhvendra Puri who's there in the market. I've kept a pot of kheer for him. You go and give him. So this pujari, first of all, when he woke up, he could not believe, like, am I hallucinating? So like, he went back to sleep. Again, the same dream. Like, oh, okay, this must be Gopinath. Then he immediately went to the temple, opened the door at night, something like 12 o'clock at night. He opened the door, he saw that actually Gopinath had kept one pot of kheer behind, below his cloth, like that. So he actually, figured that there is a kheer pot there. So he thought, "Arey, what devotee is this who, for whom Gopinath actually stole kheer?" So he picked up the pot and went in the market and started calling out, "Madhvendra Puri, Madhvendra Puri," right? And Madhvendra Puri was sleeping. He heard his name. Right? Who's calling my name at this hour? And he went up to the person and said, "Yes, yes, I'm Madhvendra Puri. What happened?" So he said, "This is the pot for you. Lord Gopinath, he stole this pot of kheer for you, and take this." So Madhvendra Puri was completely overwhelmed, and with tears in his eyes of joy, he started honoring that prasad. So much so that he even took the pots and made it almost like a powder after the kheer was over. He made powder of the pot and started taking that as prasad as well. So and then that place, then that deity got famous as Kheer Chor Gopinath. So till today, the name is Kheer Chor Gopinath. Stole kheer for Madhvendra Puri. I'm not stealing because it's again the Lord's only, but yeah, he's famous as Kheer Chor Gopinath. So from there he went ahead, and by then, because of this Kheer Chor Gopinath pastime, he was completely famous. By the time he was about to reach, Bhubaneswar, where the king of Orissa was there, uh, the king was already ready with big logs of sandalwood, and he said, you take these logs of sandalwood, you take all these men, they will help you carry it, right? And Madhvendra Puri, when he started, he did not even think, how will I carry it back, right? He was completely dependent on the Lord, and with full faith, he started. Lord has ordered I should go and get some chandan. So, and he was ready to do it himself. But then Lord arranged in such a way that the king was already ready with servants, etc. Everything was ready for him, and they all started back, for Vrindavan. And again, they stopped in the same place called Remuna, uh, you know, uh, the Gopinath Kirchur Gopinath temple. And then, while they were there, and of course they were on foot, they were taking so many days to just reach one place like that. So after many days of returning and again taking rest at Remuna, uh, Gopalji came in Madhvendra Puri's dream and said, "Oh, I am non-different from Kirchur Gopinath, right? You can apply this chandan to Kirchur Gopinath and it will be applied to me. So go ahead and do that, and I'll accept the chandan from there." So then, they arranged that the sandalwood was grinded, and chandan was applied on the body of uh, Kirchur Gopinath. And the 21 days of festival of Chandan Yatra started from the Akshay Tritiya day till 21 days. So in summers, basically, this is summer time, Akshay Tritiya time. So Akshay Tritiya day to 21 days is where we celebrate Chandan Yatra. The Lord is completely covered with Chandan. He's offered very nice cooling flowers, like Malati, Mogra, and all of that. Very fragrant white flowers are offered. Some devotees, in some temples, there is full bangla that is made, right, for the Lord, just to give him that, coolness, right? So, हमारा क्या है, हम तो AC चालू कर देते हैं. But devotees, they do such nice, sweet services for the Lord so that he feels cool in summers. And I'm sure there is Meghna Mataji there. So there is Meghna Mataji, I think, in Agro. I'm not sure if she's there right now. So she does a lot of service also for Radha Ramanji. I'm sure, she's someone who's actually serving very nicely. And all such festivals also she helps, even Radha Rasbihariji temple and temple in Chandandavan as well, Radharaman temple. So yeah, so such a devotee like Madhavendra Puri, he was so exalted. The Lord was talking to him face to face. So they don't need to follow, the typical rituals mentioned in this Vedic scriptures. So Sri Prabhupada further continues: the Vedic rites and rituals are imperative for neophytes, right? Comprehending all kinds of prayers 3 times a day, taking bath early in the morning, offering respects to forefathers. But when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. If one can reach the platform of understanding by service, the Supreme Lord Krishna, he similarly, he has no longer to execute different types of penances, sacrifices as recommended in revealed scriptures. And similarly, if one has not understood the purpose of Vedas, very important, this one. If one has not understood that the purpose of Vedas is to reach Krishna and simply engages in rituals, etc., then he is uselessly wasting time in such engagements. I'll repeat, right? If one has not understood the purpose of the Vedas is to reach Krishna and simply engages in rituals, he is uselessly wasting his time in such engagements. This is not my word. This is Krishna's words and Srila Prabhupada's words. Persons in Krishna consciousness transcend the limit of Shabda Brahma or the range of Vedas and Upanishads. So we should also try. I mean, you can try in your own homes. This is a nice time to serve the Lord. If you can procure some small chandan stick with a stone, you can grind that, apply it even to a photograph of Krishna at your home, and that is something. And if you can offer with tulsi also, that'll be great. So that's a very, very pleasing service to Krishna. You'll immediately feel some reciprocation also. Anything you want to add, Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji. Wonderfully explained the whole story. Thank you. Also, just caution that, Prabhuji, that the rituals, I mean, there Madhavendra Puri is mentioning that he doesn't need to follow anything. That's not our stage.
Yeah.
Just a word of caution. We are still
yeah.
in the neophyte stage, and yeah. So we are still in the neophyte stage, and we still need to practice a lot of regulations in that.
Okay, let's do the next one. Shruti Vipratipannate.
Shruti Vipratipannate.
Shruti Vipratipannate.
Shruti Vipratipannate.
Yada Sthasyati Nischala.
Yada Sthasyati Nischala.
Yada Sthasyati Nischala.
Yada Sthasyati Nischala.
Samadhava Achala Buddhist.
Madhavachala buddhis
Madhava Achala Buddhis
Madhavachala buddhis
Tada Yogam Avapsyasi.
Tada yogam
avapsyasi.
avapsyasi
Tada Yogam Avapsyasi.
Tada yogam avapsyasi.
Anyone would like to read the translation?
I'll read it. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness.
Yeah. So, what do you mean by the flowery language of Vedas? Anyone?
I think to get lost in the intellectual part of Vedas,
Yeah.
or something which is diverting us from self-realization part.
Yeah. So Vedas, they basically, I think correctly said that has a lot of philosophy, a lot of intellectual stuff, a lot of benefits, right? So those are also like flowery, or like the fruits essentially. So when one is lost in that, when one is lost in the rituals, right, he cannot make further progress, right? And Krishna is saying, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. So, Srila Prabhupada here is describing how one can be in full samadhi when one realizes Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. And the highest perfection of realization is to understand that one is the eternal servant of Krishna, and his only business is to discharge one's duty in Krishna consciousness, right? And such a person not disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, or attracted to some fruits or promotion into heavenly planets. Right? When he comes in directly into communion with Krishna, and there's all direction, and gets directions from Krishna, he basically is sure to achieve results and conclusive knowledge. So one simply has to follow the instructions of Krishna or the spiritual master. That's the perfection, like we were discussing in one of the class. The perfection is to vyavasaya atmika buddhi, be fixed in determination to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That's how Srila Prabhupada took it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's explanation to that verse, that vyavasaya atmika buddhi means keep taking the orders of the spiritual master as one's life and soul, right? And Srila Prabhupada was very, very impressed by that explanation by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he was actually in Mayapur, and he was crying almost every day. So before leaving for the West, Srila Prabhupada had gone back to Calcutta from Bombay, and he visited Mayapur, and he was there in Shantipur, and he was begging. Literally every day he would come, he would cry in front of Advaita Acharya, he would sweep the floor, render that service. And it was only later on, when devotees went on, after departure of Srila Prabhupada, they went on to kind of figure out or find out different people who were in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and had interviews, etc. They chanced, or they came upon, or they kind of came across this person who saw Srila Prabhupada before he left for US. He saw Srila Prabhupada. He would come daily and cry in front of Advaita Acharya, that how can I do this? Please empower me, because he wanted to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. And he would beg for mercy and clean the floor every single day. Like that. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. Samadhi Stasya Keshava.
Samadhi Satyakeshava
स्थिताधि किं प्रभाषेता
आधि किं प्रभाषेत
किम् आसिता व्रजेत किम्.
सीता व्रजेत किम्.
Translation, anyone?
I'll read.
Yeah.
Arjun said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk?
Yes. So after hearing about Krishna encouraging Krishna encouraging Arjuna to start acting in Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga, Arjuna is asking, and it's a very very natural question. He's asking Krishna, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of such a person whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit? How does he walk?" Now, these might seem like some very very simple questions as such, but there is a deeper meaning in these questions. I'll try and uh, let me see if I have it here. Yeah. So the first one is, how does he speak? So Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that how is one who is transcendently situated, Stha Prajna, described? What are his characteristics, right? So his speech, so Prabhupada explains that a person is actually, speech is very very important, right? In fact, there's a short purport. Let's try and read that. As there are symptoms of each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is is Krishna conscious has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as rich man, a diseased man has his symptoms by which he is known as diseased, or a learned man has his symptoms. So, man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. Is that true? Have you come across someone like that? Anyone? Okay. And certainly a well dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow, as stated below. So, Arjuna is basically asking how does he speak, means what is his consciousness, what is his language, which means how does he deals with others, right? How does he respond? The deeper meaning of this question is what is language, how does he respond to different people, how he deals with other people, how does he sit, which means how does he controls his senses, how is he stable, and how does he walk, what is his acharan, right? How does he practices Krishna consciousness and sets an example for others. Anything you want to add, Prabhu?
No, Guruji, I think we'll get answers now.
Yeah.
Question is nice.
Yes. So then Krishna starts answering. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan
Vacha
Prajahati Yada Kaman
Prajapati Yada Kaman
Sarvan Partha Manogatan
Sarvan Partha
Manogatan
Atmani Eva Tushta
Atmanya
Atmani
Evatmana Tushtaha
Sita Prajnastadochyate.
Sata
Very, very important shloka. People can memorize this if they want to, right? So let's chant this again. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhaganuvacha
Prajahati Yada Kaman
Prajahati
yada kama
Sarvan Partha Manogatan
Sarvan
Manogatan
Atmani Evatmana Tushta
Atmani
Prajnastadochyate.
Sita
Can someone read the translation?
Shall I?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in
pure transcendental.
transcendental consciousness.
Yeah. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoction. So sense gratification arises from mental concoction. And when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So again, a very short purport. Let's read that and we'll discuss. Prabhuji, you want to read the purport? Parts of your purport?
The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of the great sages, whereas a person who is not so transcendently situated has qualifications because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, such sense desires cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation. For this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Such a transcendently situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. So the gist of this is essentially that people who are taking shelter in their own mental concoctions, concoctions means that I have my own ideas of what is right, what is wrong, what I should do, what I should not do. I don't care about the Vedic scriptures, but apna hi man ganan read se. Yeah, there is a famous uh, some philosophers yato mat tato pat, right? As one thinks that kind of path he can follow and he will still attain the supreme. That kind of speculation is there. So mental concoction means I according to myself मैं मेरे को जो अच्छा लगता है I will do as per my own thought process and I will still attain the supreme. Or as per my own mental concoction I think uh, this is only one life, we only get this chance to enjoy, let us enjoy, right? Or as per my mental concoction there is no supreme, everything will be finished when the world is finished or when the body is finished. So these are all mental concoctions, and basis that people manufacture their own theories. There are volumes and volumes of books in hundreds and thousands of libraries, which are just occupying a lot of space, which has no meaning, but it's actually digressing from the actual truth, or diverting people from the actual truth, right? So there are so many such books like that. Even for that matter, something like Secret, etc., which says, "Oh, you desire and you'll get that." It's not so simple, right? There is your karma, there is the sanction of the Lord. So many things there. Anyways, so but somebody who's Krishna conscious automatically, in a period, in over a period of time, gets all the good qualities of demigods, right? Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, only in later chapter, he describes api chetsu duracharo bhajate mam anin bhag sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavito hi sah, right? Api chetsu duracharo. So even if there is some bad qualities or bad habits in a devotee, right? Bhajante mam ananya bhag. If he is worshipping me with focus and determination, sadhureva samantavya. Consider him a sadhu, right? That is my opinion. He's saying, consider him a sadhu. Why? Because it's a matter of time. It's like you have switched off the fan. Once the power is cut, the fan still rotates for some time. Which means that if somebody has taken up to Krishna consciousness seriously, right, there may be some bad habits or some things which are still continuing for some time, right? But one should consider the person sadhu. Why? Because the power is off. In a matter of time, the fan will come to a stop. So it's a matter of time. Then that whatever remaining bad habits are there, they will go, and the person will be endowed with all good qualities of the demigods. Right? On the other hand, somebody who's a materialist, he may externally be so sweet, so nice, endowed with all good qualities, etc. But you should understand still that he is living basis mental concoctions, still have a lot of, and he'll be following his desires basis his mental speculation and concoctions, because of which he won't be able to attain the perfection of life. So what is the use of having those good qualities? There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So you act in mode of ignorance, right? There is pleasure in the mode of ignorance as well, right? Like a pig, right, in the stool, he's enjoying. There's pleasure there for the for the pig. That's you know uh, pleasure in the mode of ignorance. Or people like to drink, for example. If there is no enjoyment there, they won't drink, right? So there is pleasure in the mode of ignorance, but that is abominable pleasure, right? Similarly, pleasure in mode of passion, right? And higher than that is pleasure in the mode of goodness. So there are people who live very clean, get up early in the morning, do a lot of charity work. They're very organized. There is a great amount of pleasure even in doing that. Even displaying good qualities, for example, or living like that is quite pleasurable. So if somebody is with such good qualities in mode of goodness, but not connected to Krishna, right? It is great, but it's waste, right? It's actually a waste. I mean, uh, and someone like this, if you find, you should definitely try and preach to them, right? And help them connect to Krishna as soon as possible. But what such people will say, नहीं 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 हमको जरूरत नहीं है, हम अपना योगा करेंगे, ऐसा करते रहेंगे, हम सुबह सुबह जाते हैं, right? And we are happy, we are getting up early in the morning, we are so they have a sense of pleasure from the mode of goodness. And a lot of times such people, we come across such people, a lot of times they are they have a sense of ego or pride. Oh, doing so much charity, I'm doing so many things so nicely, I don't need more, I don't need anything else, right? I'm sorted, I know what I'm doing, right? So that is so even mode of goodness is a shackle. It's a golden shackle, but it's a shackle, right? You have to rise above these three modes. The mode of pure goodness, although mode of goodness is extremely conducive for Krishna consciousness, extremely conducive. So and Krishna, he says, for all devotees, one has to raise themselves. uh, there's an entire chapter dedicated to that, how we need to raise ourselves to the mode of goodness, because that's the mode in which we can try and practice Krishna consciousness, right? uh, so yeah, that the mode of goodness is desired for us. But for someone who's having mode of goodness, or who's not that is completely mode of goodness, but yeah, predominantly, acting in mode of goodness, for him to not have Krishna consciousness and be there is again, it's a golden shackle. So not that we are saying not to do those things, not to get up early in the morning. This is something desired even by us, right? But uh, with for the right cause, or connecting to Krishna. If that is missed, then all of that is waste. Is the point. So the highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself, realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme. Such a transcendently situated person has no sense desire resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in the natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. So a devotee, he can be naturally happy, and we should consider him a sadhu, even though there may be externally some bad qualities, some shortcomings at the present. But it's a matter of time, and that matter of time, as per Krishna, right, not as per our calculation. Matter of time मतलब ये 2 दिन में भी ठीक हो जाना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं. Matter of time could be even 1 or 2 lifetimes, could be even some years, right? So everyone has one devotee was explaining. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit more time here, but yeah, one devotee was explaining how we should not see faults in others. So he was explaining how the heart. He was comparing how it's like a pot. It's like an earthen pot, and all of us, we have several holes in that pot. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is coming. Srila Prabhupada has created a dam on the, free-flowing Ganges of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And through that dam, we are directly getting that water of mercy. But we are not able to receive that in our heart because our heart is having so many holes. It just, drains out, right? We receive it, for a few fraction of seconds, we relish it, but then it's drained out, right? We are again back to doing what we are doing. So, and every one of us have different kinds of holes, right? Somebody may be having holes on the left side. Someone would be having a very big hole, but one hole. Somebody may having small holes, and in different sides. So each one has their own different holes, and these holes are nothing but anarthas, or bad qualities. So if you are having, if you are not having a certain bad quality and other person is having, and we pinpoint, Are, ye dekho, such a uh, such a rascal, right? Devotee hoke bhi aisa kar raha hai, all of that, right? We tend to say when we see others, right? So we should actually understand that, okay, fine, he has a specific hole at a certain spot. Maybe we have a bigger hole on the other side, which we are not able to see, right? So a devotee, he kind of refrains from, uh, thinking like this, and accusing others, like, or talking bad about others. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, or I think I from Chaitanya Charitamrita only, and I think Shri Prabhupada kind of described in his purports in CC, that anyone who chants the holy names of the Lord and does not, निंदा, वैष्णव निंदा ना करे, या किसी का निंदा ना करे, right, doesn't talk ill about anyone, he is sure to go back to God, like that. And it's a quality of great devotees, right? There are very, very great devotees who see the good in different people, right? They won't look at the bad qualities. They will spot, here is something good, and they will try to fan that small spark of good and use that in Krishna's service. That is a quality or a sign of great devotees, right? There are so many such examples. Even, I can immediately remember my Guru Maharaj. His name is Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. There are so many, and he is so merciful here. There are so many such disciples, who you may externally think, Arey, what is this? Right? What kind of person this is? And when they joined, Krishna consciousness, some people have even joined the temple. They were, their natures were not so good. But then Maharaj engaged them in service, knowing that, okay, he has this good quality. Let him be engaged in serving Krishna. Let me fan that spark. And, because of that service, all the other good qualities will come and fall in place. And we see those examples of today, such great devotees, right? We actually look up to them, that kind of devotees. So we can see the transformation just by being engaged in Krishna service. And that's the vision of a pure devotee, or a great devotee rather, that he sees the good. They're like hamsas, right? They will pull milk even from some mixture. They will be able to pull out milk from that, even if it's mixed with water and some mud, etc. They'll be able to extract that milk. So great devotees are like that, right? And for on the other flip side of it, we will see bad qualities immediately. Arey, dekho how bad this person is. So it's and especially there's a lot of times people criticize devotees living in the temple. So it's like when your life is completely public, there'll be hundreds and thousands of points to be criticized. So and these people who are living in the temple, they're trying. It's like a hospital. ISKCON is like a hospital. So everyone is patient. Only few doctors, right? We are all trying to cure ourselves. So yeah, I mean, someone is more diseased, someone is less diseased, like that. And when someone is trying to clean a cloth on a very white cloth, right? If there is a black spot, it'll be immediately noticed, instantly noticed. If the cloth is completely black and there is one more black spot, kya notice mein aayega? So that is the difference, right? I can talk about myself, right? Completely black cloth, you add more spots to it, people won't come to know. But yeah, these devotees who are there in the temple, trying to live such a pure life, follow, Mangala Arati and so many different morning programs. It's like a white cloth, and you have, one or two spots here and there. Immediately people notice and they start criticizing. Someone who can refrain from criticizing and chant Hare Krishna is sure to go back and back to God, as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right, should we stop here? Should we continue? It's already 12:30. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Any questions, any comments or reflections? Am I audible to everyone? Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt,
Yes.
but it's not related to the shloks. It's actually related to recitation part.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a word pragasya, and then in English it's written as J and N, pragnasya.
Yeah.
So in Sanskrit it's actually pragyasya. So I was confused whether like in for yagya, the English language, the English spelling is YAJNA, but in Hindi or Sanskrit we say gya, JNN.
So there is a video I can share with you. I had seen it long back. So basically it's Gnya. Gnya is a very, very right. What do you say? To translate that in English, people have kind of made a lot of mistakes. But how it's said here, J, then there is a dot, and NYNA is the correct one in terms of pronunciation of Gnya. So there's an entire video somebody has done. I think there is a guy in South India. He's describing what is the correct pronunciation for Gnya. So yeah, I can send that video if you want.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other thoughts or reflections or any questions so far?
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask you something not related to this, but now we have classes on Saturday. So can we have twice a week Is it possible? So we can cover more of this if everyone is okay. Is it possible for you to devote some more time, or should we continue like this?
Yeah, so very nice to hear that you want to spend more time. And it's a sign of
Yeah,
progress, rather, that we desire to hear more or we desire to chant more. It's actually a
I
good.
really wait for Saturdays, and if I miss one Saturday, then I have to wait for 15 days. So
Yeah, so we already have another class on Sunday, and we are on the eighth chapter. We're on chapter 8 there. So
what time, Prabhuji?
timing is similar. It's 11:30 to around 1:30. So you're
Actually,
most.
that time my daughter's classes are there. She also does with Priya Mataji. So
Oh,
laptop she uses, and it's the same time. It's 10 o'clock, but it goes up till 12:30.
okay.
In the group, we can ask if all are okay, and if you are free, maybe.
Sure.
Generally,
I think we can figure something out. But I'm saying Sundays, anyways, we have a class. And then we can figure the timings, and you can join that. So it's like, from the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, you'll continue, and this is also going on.
okay, fine.
Yeah, others wanted to be like Sujata Mata is saying once a week is good. Others
Once
are
a week
working
is okay.
big days.
I think we are all working, so little difficult it becomes when you're working.
So, Harshita Madhvi Mataji is taking a daily reading session from 3 to 4. Uh,
Yes.
so it's not Bhagavad Gita, but other books of Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada also quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and he puts it nicely in a concise way based on certain themes. So that is going on every day from 3 to 4 p.m. Weekdays, I believe. Right, Puji? Monday to Friday.
Yes.
So,
That I can target. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, that we can join.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
We'll still maybe consider, depending on how everyone feels, about 2 weekly classes and
Yeah, I mean,
availability of.
it's an optional thing for everyone. If people are free on Sunday, they are most welcome to join. And like I said, we are on the eighth chapter. If people are available on weekdays, 3 to 3:30 or 4, there is small books of Srila Prabhupada that we are reading regularly. So you could join that as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your eagerness. I mean, it's really encouraging.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank
Any
you.
any other questions or thoughts?
Hare Krishna.
Like I have a question.
Yes.
Like there will be no one here like who has not talked bad about someone else or someone who has troubled them in any way. So how to avoid that? Like we know it's not good. We know we also feel bad when we are saying bad about others. But then how to avoid that?
Yes, very good question. So, yeah, it won't happen overnight. That is one, right? And it's very, very difficult, frankly speaking. So, one has to practice spirituality slowly and steadily, and at least completely avoid, talking ill about devotees to begin with, right? So, you should at least not say anything bad about any devotee to begin with. Uh, Consciously try that, and in general about others, as you practice more and more, you build that tolerance, or you build that understanding that it is my karma which is coming back to me. This person
Yeah.
is just a medium. This person is
Yeah.
simply a
Absolutely.
medium, right? It's my own karma. So like Avanti Brahmana, again, it's an elevated state to be in. It's not very easy, right? So it comes from regular practice, right? So something small here and there, or something slightly big also, you might be able to avoid criticizing. But yeah, if something really, really drastic happens, immediately, depending on our stage, we may not be able to. But yeah, people who are really elevated, they can see the hand of Krishna, and how their own karma is acting even in the worst kind of situation. So that's a very, very elevated state. Uh, yeah. So Avanti Brahmana was a Brahmana who actually lost all his wealth everything, and is completely dependent on the Lord. His own family had rejected him. People would, passing by, they would abuse him, they would spit on him, so many things. And he simply understood, oh, this is nothing but my karma coming back to me. And imagine how someone can, think like that in that state. So yeah, but at least as you grow your roots, I should say, by you know reading Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, and chanting more and more, it's like growing roots. The more you firmly grow your roots, the more you'll be grounded, and such temptations can be avoided of uh, snapping back, answering in a wrong way, or abusing someone like that, or criticizing someone. So we can kind of start controlling, slowly and steadily. Of course, like I said, it won't happen overnight. Slowly and steadily, we can control the mind by suitable practice and detachment. Prabhuji, you want to add something?
So like Prabhupada mentioned in the previous verse, purport, Bhagavatam, he said it's mentioned. It's the verse, Yasyasti Bhakti. So Prabhupada mentioned, so the book says that actually when one performs devotional service, automatically all good qualities develop. So it's a matter of practicing nicely. So when we practice sincerely with all our heart, the impurities in our heart get washed off. So envy or jealousy or whatever it may be, that will get washed away. And so both things are needed. One is sincere practice, and on the other hand, we need to also practice trying to follow these qualities. So what one can do is actually try and see the good in others, instead of highlighting, like Roger was mentioning, Hansa. So it can take the milk out of a mixture of milk and water. So we can try and practice that, to see the good rather than to see the bad in others. Of course, it depends on the situation and various other factors, but just as a matter of practice, we can see, what is good in this person, instead of, as Prabhuji was mentioning, that the devotees at a very high level, they will see the very small good in others and fan it and make it big. So we need both practice as well as performance of devotional service. Both will help like that.
Yeah, if you sit to see the bad, there is so much bad around. Kaliyuga is filled with it. It's like Kalau Doshe Nidhe Rajan. It's like an ocean of everything bad, right? Dosha. It's filled with doshas. So it's like an endless cycle of seeing bad. Endless, right? So you can go on and on and on, and you won't have, you won't, the bad won't exhaust. You will be exhausted, right? Permanently exhausted also, right? And even in the next life, you'll continue the same. So yeah, one can choose to go on like that, or one can choose to see the good and elevate oneself.
And hitting back at other people in any way actually hurts us more than that person. So even if it's anger, when we get angry at other people, it's going to hurt us more. Like there's a story, but anyway, there's less time. I think we're singing now.
We waste more of energy when we get angry over others or anything. I think the energy we waste is significant. We are the losers.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you,
So
Prabhuji.
I think I'm sorry, we are going to take a little bit more time, but like I think in the beginning we discussed, let's end with a nice Vaishnava song. Let's attract Krishna's attention and feel the bliss. It's one of my favorites, so I just pulled that up. So this bhajan is titled Gauranga Karuna Karo. It is by Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur is one of the most famous Vaishnava poets, and very, very beautiful compositions. He has a book called Prarthana also, which is filled with all such songs.
Prabhuji, do we have this bhajan on YouTube or anywhere else we can hear this bhajan?
Yes, yes. So what we'll do is we'll share the link for the text as well as maybe we can share some YouTube links as well for you to hear. There is a famous devotee by the name of Agnidev Prabhu. So he basically, he's famous in ISKCON for singing such Vaishnava songs. So you can look up his videos as well, and maybe we can share a link or two as well. All right, so we'll sing this, and I'll sing first, and you can start. You can try and repeat. Gauranga Karuna Gauro Dina Hina Jane
Gauranga Karuna Gauro Dina Hina Jane.
Gauranga Karuna Gauro Dina Hina Jane
Gauranga Hina Hina Jane
Samapatita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvane
Samapatita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvane
Dante Trina Dhari Gaura Daki Tomare
Dante
Dhari Gaura Daki Tomare.
Dante Trina Dhari Gaura Daki Tomare
Ante trena dhari gaura dakhi
Mare
Pakari Shoama Hridaya Mandire
Pakari So Amar
Gauranga Karuna Gauro Dina Hina Jane
Gauranga Karuna Karo Hina Jane
Jadi Dayana Karibe Patita Diya Jadi Dayana
karibe patita dekhiya
Patita Pavana Nama Ishera Lagiya
Patita Pavani
Radha ki hai tumhari
Gauranga Karuna Gauro Dina Hina
Gauranga Karuna
Gauro
Hina Hina Jane
Padachi Bhava Tufane Nahi Kanistara
Parechi bhava tufane
Nahi
nahi
Kanistara
kanistara
nahi ka nistara.
Bade
Hare Shiva Baku Kahane
nahi
Nahi
kanistara.
Karistara.
Shri Charana Dharani Dane Dase Kara Para.
Shri Charana
Charanam
Taranidane Dase
Dase
Karapara.
Gauranga Karuna Koro Dina Hina Jane.
Gauranga
Gauranga
Karuna
Karuna
Karo
Karo Dina Hina
Dinahina
Jane.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasera Nudasa.
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Namo
Chaitanya
Patita
Prabhu
Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvan.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasera Nudasa.
Shri
Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Dasera
Daseranudasa.
Prarthana karaye sada Narottama dasa.
Pradhana
Pradhana
Kare
Kare
Sada
Narottama
Narottama
Dasa.
Dasa.
Gauranga karuna karo Dina hina jane.
Gauranga
Gauranga
Karuna
Karuna
Karo
Karo Dina Hina
Dinahina
Jane.
Samapatita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvane.
Mosamu Padita
Samapatita
Prabhu
Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvane.
Nahidrivane.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll quickly read the translation and end the class. Sorry, just 2 more minutes. Prabhuji, you want to read?
O my dear Lord Gauranga, please show your mercy to this lowly and destitute soul. O Lord, there is no one more fallen than myself in all the three worlds. Holding grass between my teeth, O Lord Gaura, I am calling out you now. Please be compassionate upon me and come to reside within the temple of my heart. If you do not give your mercy, seeing how fallen I am, then why are you known as Patita Pavan, the merciful savior of the fallen? I am plunged amidst the violent hurricane-stricken waves in the ocean of this world, from which there is no escape. Kindly give me the gift of your divine lotus feet, which are compared to the boat in which your servant may cross over the ocean of birth and death. Narottam Das, the servant of Lord Sri Krishna Prabhu, ceaselessly, I can't read down, ceaselessly makes this prayer. Because you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, so I think we can send this link to you, and there is videos also. The video links are also in this, so you can watch. This is sung by Radhanath Maharaj, sung by Vedya Sri Swami, Sachinandan, so many others. Yeah, I'll just share this in the group.
Oh,
So yeah, this is basically a prayer for the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very, very powerful prayer. And yeah, I mean, it's basically describing our helpless condition, and in that helpless mood, we are trying to call out Lord Gauranga for us to be saved from this ocean of working. Do we want to add something?
no, no. Priya Mataji had a suggestion. She's saying that
Yes.
if devotees have chandan at home, then maybe next week virtually we can apply chandan to the deities with some kirtan along.
Okay, sure.
So in case devotees have chandan at
Let's
home,
figure out how we do that next week. Or people, like I said, people, if you have a small picture of the Lord at your home or the image of the Lord, would very well procure chandan, and a stone, and just rub that on the stone with some water and apply that paste on the body of the Lord. And if it can be done along with tulsi, it's extremely cooling and very, very pleasing to Krishna. Very, very pleasing service to the Lord. I have so many stories right now is coming to my mind, but yeah, it's already time. But yeah, I leave you with this. And next week we will see how virtually we can try and do this as well together. Okay, thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.